Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Barak Kadash. All praises, honor, glory, love, respect, faith, and power, and trust, and all credit to my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and my Heavenly Big Brother, Yahweh Shah. Thank you so much for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're going to do. Double honors to your apostles and elders and bishops of GMS, great millstone, who I learned from, and all the men scattered all over the world, teaching this truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Bashim Shah. Trying to put a spiritual bug in you Hebrew Israelites' ears, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, some New Indians, and you speckled birds. And what is a speckled bird? That'd be a Hebrew Israelite that look like some of the heathen nations, like for example, a Hebrew Israelite that look like a so-called white person, a so-called Chinese person, etc., etc. Got some videos lined up about the collapse of the dollar, some digital dollar talk. Pretty much the collapse of the dollar and digital dollar talk, and that's ultimately leading to that mark of the beast, the RFID microchip implant. I'm going to play these videos. I'm going to get into the scripts, my best ability, say whatever God say through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shema Shah, the Holy Spirit, the Krahak Dash, Lord, will it be on me. Let's get it.
It's the death of the dollar. America's become the country our founding fathers fought against. Look at the debt level that we have. Where they're saying now it's to the debt to GDP level is like over 100. And you go back a decade ago, it was half of that. And so when I say what our founding fathers fought against, once upon a time there was this place called Great Britain, where the sun never sets on the British Empire, where they're slaughtering people all over the world, right? War after war after war after war after war. So what happened after World War I? Pound went down and the dollar went up because of all the wars that they fought. America is now in that same position. One of my sayings is that the 20th century was the American century, but the 21st century is going to be the Chinese century, because the business of America, by the facts, is war. The business of China is business. The death of the dollar is coming. And now the Iran war has made a very bad situation much worse, because a lot of the countries now that are really getting hit very hard because of this war can't stand the United States for starting it along with Israel. But Israel really doesn't count. The United States does, because it's the dollar. The petrodollar, as the prices are skyrocketing. Let's go back to February 24th. President Trump's State of the Union address. Hey, because of me, price of gasoline, a gallon of gasoline in most states, $2.30. What's it today? What's a barrel of Brent crude? Hey, let's go to the beginning of the year. What was the average price? About $60 a barrel. Going back to the death of the dollar. This is wiping out countries all over the world. Inflation's skyrocketing. And not only because of the Strait of Hormuz with oil, but other products and commodities that go through it. So there's going to be a very, very anti-American movement from the countries that go down. Once upon a time, there was this guy by the name of Bill Clinton. So Bill Clinton, when he was running for office, he had his line, "It's the economy, stupid." That was the behind the scenes.
I thought he never had sex with that woman or sexual relationship with that woman. I thought that was his line. Whatever.
Line. Only talk about the economy. Now, again, going global and why they're not going to like America. It's the economy, stupid. And this war hurt the whole world, economically, geopolitically. So this is very serious. So that's going to be another thing that brings down the death of the dollar. They've had it with America. Look at tourism. Oh, in the Middle East, tourism, the last numbers I saw, and I'm going back to March, it was down $600 million a day. Look at the flights being canceled. So this is more than just one level. So this is very important. They're all saying is going to be stagflation, stagnant economy, and rising inflation. No, it's not. It's going to be dragflation, declining economic growth and rising inflation. But
pretty much hyperinflation, collapsing, and Great Depression, or whatever the hell. Anyway.
Again, we're going back to the Middle East. They were having a rough time already. Let's go back to oil prices. One of the reasons why Brent crude was so low back then, there was more supply than demand, and OPEC Plus was pushing out more than they should have been pushing out because they needed the dough. And now Saudi Arabia is really being hit hard. And
whether you're a professional or just love getting hands-on with your home projects.
And then with this war going on, Iran bombing all these places where there are American bases, this thing's going down really bad. And again, it's all across Europe. Look at the price of petrol. This is hurting the average person. And that's very important. The equity markets, when people look at them, I was just doing some, numbers out here. I just Googled it up. BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, the big three, collectively hold approximately 22 to 28% of the total market capitalization of the S&P 500, representing over $30 trillion in managed assets across the funds, all right? Then they also go on that it's global. They own 16.4% of the markets in the UK, 19% in Australia, on and on and on. I'm mentioning this because the equity markets have zero to do with Main Street. Wall Street and Main Street, there's no connection at all. And the equity markets are going up and the GDP's going up. And the data is there. I'm not making this up because of all the money being spent in AI and all these data centers and on and on and on. That's a big percentage of the gross domestic product. It's not coming from consumer spending. So there's the K-shaped economy where the top of the K are the rich and the rest are going down. This is very serious. And like you said, people go put gas in their car. I can't afford it. Oh, look at the foreclosure rates now going way up. Before COVID, the average age of first-time home buyers in the United States, 28 years old. You know what it is now?
Right.
40 years old. Young people getting wiped out. So this is very serious. This war, the damage it's done is incalculable. And the longer it goes on, the worse it's going to get. I started buying gold when the Iran conflict started breaking out in the late 1970s. Look what
Anyway, I ain't playing all this. It's always AI. That's not really Jerry Salente talking. But it is talking bad news about financials, the financial stuff, and plus the dollar collapsing. Yeah, this sounds great to me when you hear about this shit. Let's get to Sabby Sab, see what she got to say. I haven't watched none of these videos. Anything, it's just a lot of shit that's related to the dollar collapsing and the economy collapsing and leading to that market to be chip implant.
A bombshell report was just announced about the US dollar. Everyone take note. We've been talking about the US having a decline, but now we have the numbers to show it. This just came out. The US dollar has lost 30% of its purchasing power over the last 6 years. Hold on to that thought. 30%. I want everybody to just take that in for just a second. Okay? Last 6 years. So that means that the US dollar is not worth what it was in even 2024. Or not 2024, excuse me. And even like 2019 compared to what it is now. It's not even worth the same as 2019. In fact, this gentleman here.
Shit, I remember. I think I mentioned it. Back, was it around 2019? I bought 2 steel hedge clippers. Steel's a brand. But anyway, I bought 2 steel hedge clippers for $300. Almost, they were less than $400. 6 years later, them bitches $530. Yeah, they were like $380 when I first bought them. Shit, them motherfuckers went up. Chainsaw, was a steel chainsaw I bought. It was $500 when I first bought. Actually, no, that motherfucker was about at least a $400, about $400 or $500. Now it's $700. Yeah.
He did a pretty good.
Yeah, the dollar is devaluating, or whatever.
Breakdown.
When I say devaluate, it's being devalued. Whatever, it's not worth it. It never was worth shit. Never was worth shit. We ain't backed up by anything. Just like all the rest of these currencies all over the world. Their currencies ain't backed up by no gold and no silver. Hell no. And it's funny how they talk so much about America's the dollar, the USD is not backed up by gold. Hell, none of these countries' currency is not backed up by gold. Now, either, whatever.
Shout out to Andrew here. The purchasing power of $100 since the Federal Reserve was created. 1913, $100. 1923, $57.89. 1933, $76.15. 1943, $57.23. 1953, $37. 1963, $32. 1973, $22. 1983, $9. See this big drop here? 1973, the US dollar was worth $22. This is the purchasing power. But come 1983, it quickly drops to $9.09.
I want to just be zero, because it's not worth a fucking damn. I mean, no, it ain't worth a damn. Anyway.
94 cents. 1993, a little over $6. 2003, a little over $5. 2013, a little over $4. And 2026 right now, the US dollar, $2.99. The US dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power, according to Andrew. Guys, this is absolutely insane. The last time you can say people probably had it good.
Shit, I'm not surprised. But prices of this shit is getting more expensive.
Was 1973. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, all this, and I ain't gonna say all. Go ahead and say it, but all this is leading to that chip implant, the RFID microchip implant, the mark of the beast. Oh yeah, if you don't believe that, you better.
this is why some people say in the Fed.
Man, shut up, bitch. This shit leading to that chip implant. What the fuck the Fed going? What is that gonna do?
This is why you'll hear some people advocating for that. Some people have it as a part of their campaign platform in the Fed. Do you see this? It's not your neighbors. No, no, no. Remember who we told you, who's at the top. Now, let me show you how this all basically translates into this recent report that was just announced this year. The Out of Reach report, again, this is released every July. Every year I show you this, the cost continues to increase. This report here shows you how much you need to make to afford a 2-bedroom apartment rental. Just 2-bedroom, okay? They also have 1-bedroom. Take hold of the fact that the US dollar just lost 30% of its purchasing power, and then pay attention to this. We're going to go to the first expensive state here, California. California has the highest housing wage in the country.
Now, you know what? Got this video right here. I've been having it in my playlist for a minute. I didn't know when I was gonna get to play it, but shit, I won't say might as well play it. Well, this one says why you won't be able to afford food by winter. Yeah, I might as well play this too. Yeah, we get down with some of these videos. What you talking about California? Man, I'm gonna play them last after this one.
This has not changed since I've been covering this. However, what has changed is that it continues to increase. Now it says that in California, you need to make $52.79 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom rental.
Yeah.
If you look a little further, it says that if you make minimum wage in California, you would have to work 125 hours a week. Does everybody get it now?
Yeah, does everybody get that this shit gonna lead to that chip implant? You Israelites, you should know, and y'all should be seeking the Lord, seeking Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. Now, no God, Jeevas, Allah, Buddha, none of that dumb shit, but Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. And that's your only way to get protection if the Lord give you protection, if you worthy. But that's your only way. Because it's gonna get crazy out here, man.
Let's look at a couple others as well. This is what I've been warning people about. By the way, it's not just the blue states. I'm going to warn you here again about Florida.
Well, hell, they all blue. You got a light blue. You got a in between it. And then you got like a bright blue. You got a baby blue, a powder blue, and a grayish blue. Whatever.
This is another one that's been creeping up. Florida is now in the top 10. The first year I covered this, they were not in the top 10. They are now. In Florida, you would need to make $37.93 an hour to afford an average 2-bedroom rental. If you make minimum wage in Florida, you have to work 108 hours a week.
Mike Collins voted against releasing the Epstein files.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's gonna be it. Cause goddamn, this fucking it. No, I'm gonna let this. Just mute this shit. I can't stand when these fucking ads come up. It's gonna be 15-second long ads, and then after this ad go by, then another ad gonna come up with a bunch of nonsense. And this fag ass nigga talking about some, I'm stopping child sex trafficking. What? Cause I'm stopping it by signing some piece of paper. What the fuck they gonna do, nigga? Signing a piece of paper that's gonna stop sex trafficking of children. What the fuck is this shit? This dumb little shit.
World to build.
That's a red state. Now, I want to prove a point with Florida. Do you want to know why Florida is now in the top 10? One of the reasons?
Probably because of Amalek.
Because too many people have moved there.
Yeah, too many Amalekites moved there. They made shit more expensive in Florida.
Right? So when people say if the cost of living is too high,
yeah, people did move. A lot of people have moved there because they left from California to Florida, and some moved to Texas. I don't know where else. They moved down south.
just move down south, just move to Michigan. That's
It's funny how I said that, and then she said it afterwards.
a big one I've been hearing people say. Well, what happens is when you have an influx of people moving into one place, that obviously wreaks havoc on supply and demand. So if the supply is not keeping up with the demand,
Well, it's more than just that shit, but I ain't gonna get into it. But I'm gonna end this video because it's ultimately that chip implant, man. Fuck that shit. Let's see what's going on in California. People getting priced out.
Living the dream in sunny California. It turns out
I wasn't really planning on playing this video or the one after this one, but I'm gonna play it anyway.
has come down to who?
Oh, but hold on, because I was on the topic talking about the dollar, you know, being devalued and worthless, becoming worthless, but it is worthless. It's always been worthless since the creation of it. James chapter 5 verse 1, go to now ye rich men, weep and howl, for your measure shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupting, your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is canker, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. Ye have harped up, no, and ye shall eat flesh, no, and shall eat your flesh as it will fire. Ye have harped up treasure for the last days. I'm trying to read too fast. But yeah, money ain't crap. I mean, they're not money. I keep calling it money. It ain't money. It's paper. And it ain't real money. I'll call it currency then. I guess I'll just call it currency. But the damn sure ain't money. It ain't worth a damn. It's crap. And eventually, sooner or later, people gonna realize it. When they crash this shit, I don't know how it's gonna play out, but I can tell you the Lord is gonna put a wrinkle in people's bubble, or bust that bubble, really. Yeah, the Lord gonna bust their bubble more than put a wrinkle in it. Ezekiel chapter 7 verse 18, they shall also anoint themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. They shall cast their silver in the streets. They're gonna be throwing whatever little worthless currency they got in their possession out in the streets, or just using it for toilet paper to wipe the brown off their back with the green back. Yep. Oh yeah, where we at? They shall cast their silver in the streets. They shall not. And their gold shall be removed. All their savings, their stock investments, everything that's saved digitally is gonna be wiped out, taken away from you. Yep. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord, so you won't be able to buy your way out of judgment. They shall cast their silver. No, hold on, I'm tripping, bro. Here I go again, reading too fast, and then I'm not even reading what I'm actually highlighting or looking at. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. So I just had some stuff on my mind, and I was just like, man, these people fucking annoying. I can't stand these people, man. These customers, I can't stand them, bro. They just, can you come on yard on that day, I'm like, no, bitch, I got you scheduled to cut on this day. Leave me the fuck alone. I don't give a fuck if it rains. Let it rain. Shit, I'll be behind, but at least I'm still gonna get paid. Hell, I ain't studying you people. I gotta end up cutting thicker grass. Even all the rain, I'm still gonna have to cut your shit anyway.
You can pay $1 million or more for small homes like these, or the astronomical rents throughout Los Angeles.
Woo! $3,000. What did that shit say?
Or the astronomical rent
$3,000 for 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. Good googly moogly. And that shit.
throughout Los Angeles. For example,
Studio. I don't even.
everywhere else in America, modest homes like these will sell for an average of $500,000.
What the fuck? Damn, bro. Bro, we need new rulership, man. We need the Lord to come and make that change come fast, bro. This is absolutely outrageous. Oh, it's gonna get worse. These are million. Oh, now they're like, man, we're almost at $1 million. I'm living in $1 million home, man. That's how some people like, I'm living in $1 million mansion.
But here in California, $1 million or more. But
oh, and I say that's the spirit. Yeah, I'm just talking about $1 million home. And that home right there, that's like a $60,000 home in Georgia, bro. Shit. Well, more like in the sticks somewhere. Cause you got a home that look like that in some part of Atlanta. That's gonna be about a $300,000 home. Fuck that.
Sometimes you can catch
Hell yeah, they're gonna be like, they're worth $300,000.
a break and get a, quote, deal on tiny homes like these, says longtime real estate agent Sam Weaver, who says you might find one for $900,000 for basically a shack.
That's what you get.
That's a fucking shame. In America? Nigga, that nigga got them evil eyebrow look. Like, I don't know.
A shack
A shack.
for $900,000.
900,000.
Renting is the only option now for nearly half of California residents, according to recent housing studies, where a one-bedroom apartment to rent can cost almost $3,000 a month, a two-bedroom $4,500 or more. Like here in working-class East Los Angeles. East Los Angeles is the most densely populated area
Jake, and a bunch of Eves.
of Los Angeles, where 300,000 mostly Mexican immigrants live in small homes they rent here, where you can go by the number of cars parked in the driveway.
Yep, and they gotta do it like that. Shit. What is that, a C10? Yeah, they got a C10 right now.
To get an idea
72. Fleet side.
of how many people are squeezed into just one small home, like this one next to a mural of Mexican revolutionary Pancho Villa. They say it's dog eat dog here when it comes to finding an affordable place to live, where people need to be prepared to pay more than the next guy for rents here in order to secure an apartment. It's become common for a dozen people or more to pay rent in one place. For example, Mexican immigrant Hector here, who sells flowers to get by, lives in a rental home with 14 other people, he says.
14 people in one house, and I bet you the house ain't nothing but about the size of a damn. Well, I got probably 2 bedrooms maybe. Yeah, but still, come on, bro. 14 people in a lot. Shit.
Who pay $200 each a month for a bed on the floor.
Yeah,
But tenants
but hey, some people like, hey, at least you got shelter and 4 walls.
like him are often told to move when somebody else buys the house. And more of these homes valued at $800,000 here are being bought and fixed up a bit and then sold for more than $1 million. Everybody's doing it, says real estate agent Sam Weaver.
Well, we have a lot of foreign buyers, so we do have a lot of that.
Foreign buyers, I'm guessing they probably small hats. Maybe, I don't know.
Individuals or companies?
I would say individuals and families, and so we get a lot of people buying our houses that are from other countries. But the average house that we're seeing is probably you're going to buy for about 800 to $1 million to sell for the 1.2 to 1.3.
He says the down payment alone is not something a lot of people can afford for $1 million home.
If you want to put 10% down, you do the math, right? You're over 100,000. So it's challenging for people in an economy where things are more expensive, and it's much harder to save today than it was maybe.
Oh yeah, save today? Yeah, they're going back to Hagar. Let me get that. Oh yeah. So I guess this video here ain't gonna just be about the crash of the economy or the collapse of the dollar. It ain't just that, and plus talking about digital dollar, but let's throw in the cost of living crisis. Yeah, throw that in. And the food. I don't know what the bald head nigga gonna say in his video, but we'll see once I get to it, Lord willing. Hagar chapter 1 verse 6, ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye are not filled. Ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with hoes. And that's why I wanted to read that part right there, because that triggered me. What he said, you triggered me to read that scripture.
I don't know, 10 years ago.
Hence, the reason that more than just one family will share a rental home.
Yeah, we see that a lot. Yeah, you just see multiple families moving into one house.
How many people?
I've seen 12. I've been in the business long enough to where I've seen it become more of a I call it shark-infested waters, where you have investors that come in, they want to lowball homeowners, pennies on the dollar, and I never felt comfortable with that. And so to offset that, I created a program. I know other people have done it, but it's where I sponsor homeowners to flip their own houses. So when I go sit with a homeowner, I offer them an all-cash offer, but I also offer to bring in my money with my crews to sell their house to sell for top dollar And that's my way of offsetting maybe some of the families that need to sell fast and just unload houses. I feel really bad for the families that are on fixed incomes trying to survive in the state. And I think they're the ones that we're sort of leaving them behind. And we got to find.
Yeah. Well, hey, Esau got a plan for that. You need a roof over your head, a place to stay with 4 walls, and maybe air conditioning. Well, we'll figure that out once you get that chip implant. Get the chip implant and we'll figure that out. Man, shit, once you get that shit, that nigga gonna leave your ass high and dry and ready to die, get burnt up by that nuclear fire. Shit.
Find a way around that, otherwise we're gonna see more homeless, because we have a huge homeless population in our state. I think it's something like 180,000 people.
I mean, everything in LA is so expensive. Expensive.
Young couple Armando Marquez and Eileen Lopez are looking at this small home for sale. They say they're disgusted by how greedy sellers are to be asking so much money for such small homes.
Oh, just the rich get richer.
What's it like for you as a mom and expenses in California?
It's difficult, kids are expensive.
They're looking for a home with 2 bedrooms so their kids can share a room of their own. Living conditions are far worse, they say, for some of their friends.
I have friends that live in garages.
Do you want to live in LA? That's the cost.
Any advice to somebody outside of California who's
Man, see, that's why, man. That's why I'm like, man, this nigga Esau, Amalek, this nigga need to go, man. This is fucking pitiful. This shit is absolutely pitiful. But see, this ain't living for you, Israelite. Y'all should realize this is not your place of rest. This is not your. I don't know. I could just. What else can I say? I just say it's not your place of rest. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 verse 3. No, this ain't it. I knew something was wrong there. I mean, Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Hell, man, fuck that shit. We gonna be living in castles, bruh. But right now, well, shit, we being ruled by wicked ass niggas. They greedy as fuck. We living in boxes, bro. And y'all think you Israelite thinking that, man, this better than nothing. Yeah, it's better than nothing. But shit, I want more than this shit. Oh shit, god dang. But when the wicked bear fruit, the people mourn. And the wicked ruling, man, them niggas greedy as hell, taking up all your money.
Dreaming of coming to California?
Don't come. Look at Arizona, look at Nevada. Or Idaho.
People looking to buy a home will often see this friendly face around town, a real estate agent named Inez Hernandez, who we managed to catch up with in front of one of his properties that he's trying to sell for a client. Inez's face is seen on these signs all over town.
Do you recognize that man?
He looks familiar. I've seen him around. I've seen him around the neighborhood.
Inez says this property that he's currently representing may sell for at least $1 million, and that's even with this Chinese cemetery right across the street. Though some prospective buyers, he says, have asked about ghosts. He tells them,
Yeah.
They're friendly ghosts, if there are.
They don't.
Goddamn Moabite ghost. So you buy now. You get out, buy now. Get out. Buy now, nigga.
Don't bother the neighbors.
He says all the $1 million homes on the market in East Los Angeles seems a bit strange to him, because when he was growing up here, the $1 million home was only found in Beverly Hills.
A lot of homes are going for over $1 million. Who would have ever thought in East Los Angeles a home was going to be $1 million? Back then, I would think $1 million. Well, you got to go to Beverly Hills. No, now it's right around the corner from your own home. $1 million.
Gas prices here in California, he says, are another reason why people are struggling to make ends meet.
I'm gonna start right there. Yeah. And what is this about? Elon Musk rolls out X money. Users can bank, pay bills, and send money inside X. No thanks. Fuck that nigga.
$40.60 for a fruit tray.
That's everything. That's $108 worth of groceries.
See what happens when you charge $32 for a steak? You get nobody buying it. Take a look at all these brown ones. Yeah, expired.
Guess how much is this? This is $101.88.
She didn't even show what was in the bag.
And if you think those are isolated, they're not. There's hundreds of those videos around of people complaining about how expensive food is. And I know many of you watching this channel have put so many comments below the video saying the exact same thing. I can't believe I paid this much for this, unbelievable prices for that. And it just keeps going up and up. Have you noticed that trend? Now we're really getting into the crop, well, not even forecasting anymore. They're actually looking in the fields and saying, we're lean. We're 10, 20% down in certain, wheat growing areas across the EU. Areas in Asia that grow wheat, like India and Pakistan, down almost 10%. We got the US down, Australia down. So just food in general looks like it's getting more expensive. So if the trend continues, which I'm going to show you some slides or bring you a few more videos, it looks like this is going to amplify, especially when we come into when the harvest is and they really realize how much there's not. Although wheat prices fell just a little bit this week, but that little dip is going to come right back up again once we see what's not in the silos. So take a look at these two news articles right here. Increasing number of U.S. families took on debt, tapped savings to meet food needs. That is unacceptable. Many American families are struggling.
Unacceptable, nigga. Yeah, it is. In order to cripple a country, you got a plan to get somebody to take a microchip. How can I say? If you got a plan to do something by getting people to pretty much get them microchip, you're gonna do some shit like this. You're gonna get them prices raised up somehow. Shit. But whatever. This is prophecy, man. You gotta seek the Lord.
We're going to make ends meet on their incomes alone and have resorted to credit cards, payday loans, buy now, pay later options for groceries, according to nonprofit research Center Institute. And this is a recipe for civil unrest right here. Go back through history in the last 500 or 1,000 years, and you see when there's not enough food and things get pricey. French Revolution's a great one. Let them eat cake. That's exactly the same. And the wealth distribution across the strata that we see is literally exactly the same as it was in France during that time. So I'm just saying, if you go back in history, when food gets expensive and people can't pay for that, they demand answers from politicians who obviously don't have any, especially ours right now with the graft and, hey, getting the paybacks, kickbacks, the backhanded deals, and you got lobbyists and everybody's kicking in money to vote a certain way for companies and corporations. And I get it. They're trying to make a bottom dollar. They're an entity. You're an individual. If we're at the point now where our country and we need to start putting food on a loan and a payday buyback and 4 installments so you can get your green beans, we are so precariously close to a massive civil unrest event. Now, the way it looks, I'll bring you some numbers here, but we're talking more than like a smidgen. They always try to make some of these news stories more grandiose than they are. If you look at the news, or there'll be a fire in one place and like, oh, place is burning, but it's really just an isolated incident. This does not seem to be isolated at all. Everywhere I'm looking is not isolated. It is everywhere around the world. Some places more intense than others. I encourage you to look at like Pakistan, Nigeria, places in East Africa that are...
Yeah, it's worldwide. Anyway, I'm just really just sticking to America, but it's worldwide. Let's get to this next one. See what this is about. We're talking about digital IDs, CBDCs. Well, not digital IDs, but digital cash. I meant to say cashless.
I bundled my home and auto and...
Which gonna require digital ID, a digital wallet.
Head of at that time of general manager of the Bank of International Settlements, which is the central bank of central bank. The 63 most powerful central banks are members of the BIS. Basically explains what they intend to do. And it was the first time in my life I had ever seen a central banker tell the truth. And I fell off my chair. And I said to John, oh my God, we have to clip that. And he said, I've already done it. We've got it. And here it is. So perhaps you could play it. Yeah, we'll play that.
For example, in cash,
this guy look like an egg.
We don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also, we will have the technology to enforce that.
Well, Catherine, that sounds pretty terrifying. And they say when somebody tells you who they are, you should believe them. So there he is, laying it straight out there. So we're talking about a system where every transaction can be tracked. Every movement can be monitored. Every purchase can be analyzed, denied, or not allowed to go through. access to money, services, mobility, all increasingly depending on digital systems. And it all links back to, I think, the central pillar, which is the money, the CBDCs.
Right. So, or, now what they're doing is they're not going to use CBDCs in the United States. What they're planning on doing is coming out with stable coins and digital tokens that are programmable in the same way. It's a public-private partnership, and it's much more terrifying than CBDCs because you have complete non-accountability. If you remember the Twitter government model on censorship, Twitter's saying we're a private company, we're not a government, we're not held to that standard. And the government's telling them what to do, but from behind the scenes, but the government says it's not us, they're a private company, they can do whatever they want. So now we're talking about using digital tokens and stable coins in a public-private partnership like that, which to me is much more frightening. A central bank issuing a central bank digital currency has legal obligations to the Congress, it has legal obligations to the citizens, and it can be required to disclose all sorts of information. In the public-private partnerships that are coming into fruition under the stablecoin, under the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and some of the other arrangements, these private parties don't begin to have the same obligation to the citizens that a central bank would. So if you look at the model we're proceeding with in the United States, to me it's much more frightening than a CBDC.
Before we continue the conversation with Catherine, I want to take a quick minute to thank you all so much for watching and supporting our website development. But let's focus on the US for now. Well, the status of a CBDC in the US is a bit unclear. There's some legislation expected to pass Congress that includes a provision that would block the Fed from issuing a CBDC, a retail digital dollar, but that's only until December 31st of 2030 anyway, so it's temporary. And it's tucked into a housing bill that hasn't passed yet, but Republicans were pushing to get that included. We had President Trump issue an executive order banning a CBDC just days after taking office. But again, before we get into the legislative details of the likelihood of this passing, not passing, you're saying we shouldn't take much comfort in anti-CBDC legislation anyway, because stable coins are the real issue here.
Take no comfort whatsoever. And if anything, it's a distraction and making you think that you're safe when you're not. First of all, the Fed cannot do a CBDC without authorizing legislation. So you can pass all the laws you want saying that they can't do a CBDC. They can't do a CBDC unless they get affirmative authorizing legislation, which they're not going to get in this environment. It's certainly not now. So that's number one. But
whatever. Are they still gonna get a damn chip implant for everybody? Shit.
Number two, it's important to understand CBDC is a currency. So let's step back and talk about what is programmable money, because I want to make sure everybody understands what we mean by this. So let's say you and I do a deal with cash. And that's what I call a two-lot transaction. This is from a wonderful
I ain't gonna play too much of this. Because every interview, she always got to bring a breakdown of. She talking about CBDC, she got to give a breakdown of what it is. And I don't know what else she going to talk about in this video. But if you want to watch the rest of it, they go to the title of it, they go to the channel, and move on to this one.
A sign of the times in digital days.
I don't actually use cash at all. I don't actually even carry cash.
She's not alone, with Australia on the brink of becoming a cashless society.
My guess is that by 2030, we'll be in a functionally cashless society.
The share of customers using real money plunged from almost 70% in 2000.
Yeah, it ain't real money.
2007.
Real money be gold, silver.
To just
land, animals, crops. Things you can actually use.
13.
Trade and exchange or whatever. Anyway.
10% last year.
Card.
I feel like most things have gone cashless recently.
But that's still 1 in 10 who rely on it.
They trust it, they know how to use it. There's a big chunk of older Australians who aren't confident in using a device.
Despite being legal tender, businesses have no legal obligation to take cash. Gloria Jean's the latest company to launch a cashless trial, leaving a bitter taste in the mouth of coffee drinkers.
I was going to pay cash, but if I can't, I'm probably just going to go home.
Australians are paying a pretty penny to not use cash. Average FPOS fees are less than 0.5%. If you tap a debit card, it's up to 1%, while credit cards can attract a 2% surcharge. The total tapping tally, almost $1 billion a year.
I guess it's a bit of a silent tax.
And the only way to avoid it is to pay cash.
Have you ever walked into a cafe, pulled out a $20 note, and been met with the awkward look, "Sorry mate, card only"? You stand there thinking, since when did my own money become inconvenient? Well, that awkward moment isn't just happening in Australia, it's happening across Europe, across Asia, across North America. And governments and banks and technology companies all seem to be heading in the same direction. The world where cash slowly disappears. But here's the question. Is this simply progress, or are we walking to something much bigger? Today we're looking at Australians' cashless future. What's actually happening, why it's happening, who wins, who loses, and why every Australian, whether they love cash or haven't carried it around for years, should probably pay attention. So grab your coffee or pay for it before they stop accepting cash altogether. Let's get into it. Cash isn't disappearing overnight, but it's certainly shrinking, according to the RBA. Australians now make the overwhelming majority of everyday payments electronically. Debit cards, credit cards, mobile phones, smartwatches, even rings that let you pay. Thousands of ATMs have disappeared. Many bank branches have closed. Some businesses openly refuse cash, and others simply don't have enough change anymore. Australia Post has become one of the country's biggest providers of banking services, simply because traditional bank branches have been disappearing. Australia isn't alone. Sweden has become one of the least cash-dependent societies in the world.
Oh, speaking of Sweden, they got them chip implants. Oh yeah, a lot of, I don't know, thousands of people got those microchip implants inside them. Their digital ID, the final stage of a digital ID, digital wallet, yeah.
Norway is close behind. China's cities rely heavily on
I'm pretty sure there's all these other countries, they got shit like that. But Sweden, I believe, is the biggest country with the most damn microchip people in the world.
Code payments. India experienced one of the history's largest shift away from cash after demonetization in 2016. Even the United States has digital payments overtake cash for many everyday purchases. The trend is global. Supporters say that there are plenty of good reasons. Digital payments are faster, more convenient, cheaper to process, safer than carrying large amounts of cash, businesses reduce theft, banks save money, governments can reduce tax evasion, criminal activity involving cash becomes harder, consumers enjoy instant payments, online shopping becomes seamless, and in many ways, it's hard to argue technology hasn't made life easier. Most Australians tap without thinking. Some younger Australians have barely used physical cash. It feels normal. But convenience often comes with trade-offs. Let's start with the winners. Banks save billions by handling less physical cash. Transporting, securing, and processing notes and coins is incredibly expensive. Payment companies benefit every time you tap a card. Technology companies benefit as mobile wallets become increasingly popular. Retailers often enjoy fast checkout times. Governments gain improved financial visibility. Economists argue that digital payments help reduce the underground economy and improve tax compliance. Some experts also say digital payments can improve financial inclusion when people have access to affordable banking and internet services. On paper, everyone appears to win, or do they? This is where things become more interesting. Not everyone lives in the same digital life. Older Australians often still rely on cash. People in remote communities may experience internet outages. Small businesses sometimes face transaction fees that eat into already tight margins. Privacy advocates argue every digital payment creates a permanent record, instead of anonymous cash. Every coffee, every supermarket visit, every tank of fuel, even potentially become part of a digital trail. Cybersecurity also becomes more important than ever. If payment systems fail, power goes out, internet connections drop, or banks suffer outages, cash suddenly looks pretty useful again.
Yeah, but you know the elite don't give a fuck about that. They want you to suffer more when you don't have cash exchange. But even if the power goes out and cash is still in circulation, some of these stores, like big chain stores, they don't keep log on inventory on their goods by putting it on paper or keeping like a log sheet or some shit. No, they have everything stored on through the computers. So the computer's down because electricity's out, then guess what? They closing up the store because nobody can't buy anything, and they got to keep up on inventory digitally. They're not keeping on inventory by paper. No.
Australians have
now little small stores like mom and pop they would be, but shit. But whatever.
Already experienced banking outages affecting major financial institutions, reminding everyone that digital systems are not available. Because this isn't simply about choosing between coins and cards, it's about resilience, choice, privacy, access, Australia is a massive country. Natural disasters regularly disrupt communications. Bushfires, floods, cyclones. Regional communities often rely on whatever payment method still works. Cash doesn't require batteries. Cash doesn't need mobile reception. Cash doesn't ask for software updates. And perhaps most importantly, cash allows Australians to choose how they pay.
Alright, anyway, they're going digital and they don't give a fuck. The elite are going forward with this digital shit and they're going to need you to get people to get Microchip. Let's get to it. I played this video yesterday on another video, but I like to play it again for this video. Just typed in 8 count.
Your physical cash is fixing to be a thing of the past. You're not going to have physical cash in your hand anymore. We're seeing it everywhere. We're seeing it at fast food restaurants where you have to order everything off of an app or off of an iPad looking thing in the store, and they don't accept cash except for through the drive-thru. We're seeing it at places like Walmart and other places where they don't have many cashiers anymore. They have self-checkouts, and a lot of them don't take cash. Some of them do, but most of them prefer a card, right? The younger generation, they're not going to know what cash is. They're not, because they pay with their phone, they pay with a card, or they click a button on their phone, laptop, or whatever to buy something. You don't see people getting paid in physical checks anymore. You don't see people getting paid in cash. You don't see that. If you use cash, like when I go pay my car insurance, they charge me a handling fee for handling money. You pay with a debit card, they charge you a 3 to 5% charge for using the card. It's getting to the point where cash will no longer be around. Some people say, well, cash will always be king. No, it's not. Because if it all goes digital and everything's stored in this computer system, right, and internet goes down and you need some cash, you're not going to be able to get it. And people say, well, I'll just go to the bank and draw money out. Guess what? You're not going to do it because the computer won't tell them how much money you have in the bank to allow you to withdraw. What's going to happen in the future is possibly you post something on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, anything that they don't like, well, you don't get no money today, you get a strike, right? People are like, that's not going to happen. It very possibly could. If you start letting...
It's happening in China, and they've been talking about it, and that talk, I mean, they've been talking about it, it's just pretty much a warning, letting you know that it's coming close.
A computer control every day of your life, especially your finances, right? It controls when you can access money, how much money you can get. That's an issue. People say, well, that's better because it cuts down on robbery. Or, you know, that's when credit cards come around. Who remembers? I wasn't old enough when credit cards come out. I may look like it, but I'm not old enough to remember it. But one of their big things was, well, this way, you know, people get less likely to get robbed because they're not carrying physical cash. Then it led into the debit cards and things like that. But now you got cybersecurity, right? People can wipe you out with just a couple buttons on a keyboard. And you're like, what do I do now? Then you're stuck because you're having to go through all these steps to try to get your money back. Guys, it's not a good thing to go digital dollar like everybody thinks it is. It's not. Is it more convenient? Yes. But you have no physical money on you. Let's say you go, a big storm comes through, right? Knocks out your power, internet, and everything. You have cash on you, go to a gas station or a grocery store in your area. I'm talking small areas. They may still take cash and write out a paper receipt, right? The larger cities, they're not going to do that because they can't write down all that, right? They have a system, a point of sale system that tells them all this. Our technology is getting way too sophisticated. Elon Musk said a couple of days ago that by 2036 you don't need to save because we'll basically be on like a social
UBI and yeah, universal basic income or high income, whatever.
Score, right? Guys, this isn't good. This isn't good. Let me know your thoughts on this. Leave a comment. Do you think physical cash will go away, or do you think cash will always be king and will always be there?
Nope, it's going away. Just like America gonna be going away. A lot of you Israelites, they take them damn chip implants, your ass gonna be going away. But then you'll be coming back as reincarnated. You'll be reincarnated, but you'll be born again through the loins of the elect men. But that's all I got to say. Yeah, they showed that scripture earlier about the mark of the beast. Let me get that. Revelation chapter 13 verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And it ain't got to be just in your right hand. It could be your left hand, your feet, your butt cheeks, titty, big titty, small titty, man boobs, if it could be there. But most importantly, in your forehead, the brain. Yeah, them brain implants. and that no man might buy or sell. So if you don't get the chip, well, you can't live in society. But if the Lord be with you, you're like, fuck the world. If the Lord be with you, the hell with this world. The Lord take care of you. Save he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him have understanding. Count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 score 666. 666 just represents a man. Yep. It's not the mark of the beast, it just represents the man. That man is Esau, Edom, so-called white man, but he ain't white. He's red. He's a baby dick sucking, foreskin eating Jewish faggot nigga named Amalek. And if you take the chip, this what happens. Matter of fact, I don't want to read that. Let's read. I'd rather read this one. Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive the mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink the wine. I'm about to say wrath. Well, it is a wrath, yeah, because I'm about to get to the wine of the wrath of the Lord God, Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels. So you're not going to be thrown in daggone the pits of hell with the holy angels watching you, and in the presence of the Lamb, where Yahweh Shah, who the word of God, Jeebus, is watching you. No, your ass gonna be left behind in that flaming fire caused by the nuclear bombs, nigga. When World War III finally comes at its climax, heck yeah, it comes at a end. And war, that end is gonna be bad for a lot of you people, especially you Israelites taking that chip implant. That's what this is talking about. It ain't talking about you gonna be thrown in the pot, thrown in hell, burning with brimstone. No, you burning with brimstone on the earth's surface, where buildings stand and trees grow, and you know everything is going on here. You ain't gonna be burning no spiritual place, you dumb fucks. No, the only place you know where your ass see fire is here on earth. That's the only place that you see fire that exists, and you feel pain is here on the surface of the earth. Not inside the earth's crust. No, nigga, that's stupid. It's dumb. Stop it. And if you can't stop it, you just gonna find out the hard way when your ass get destroyed, feeling that pain or that nuclear fire if you live through that. But anyway, that's what's gonna happen if you worship the beast and his image and you take that chip. And Yahweh Shah and the angels gonna watch you. Your ass gonna get cooked, and the elect. Men, women, and children gonna watch you get cooked. You be backstroking in that damn lake of fire. Yep. What is this? And the smoke of their torment asunder up. Oh, I can stop there. But anyway, people gonna get fucked. I mean, they gonna get killed. I don't want to try to say cuss word, but they gonna get killed. Oh yeah. So anyway, if you don't want to be in this situation, well, you need to seek the Lord by seeking his prophets and take heed to what to say and try to build a spiritual mental relationship with Yahweh Shema Shah by praying Yahweh Shema Shah, praising Yahweh Shema Shah, worshiping Yahweh Shema Shah, fearing Yahweh Shema Shah, and repenting in Yahweh Shema Shah. To all the men out there pushing this truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Shema Shah. Keep on preaching, keep on teaching, keep your faith and trust strong. Yahweh Shema Shah, stay humble. And for you few sisters out there taking heed, keep your faith and trust strong. Yahweh Shema Shah. Stay humble, stay in order with your man. If you ain't got no man, stay in order. Yahweh Shema Shah. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom.